bad bitch, I'm a bad bitch, one.
Okay.
Hey.
How are you?
Good. How are you?
Good. I'm liking this flick back ponytail look.
Oh, thank you.
I feel like I try to pull that off and then I just look like all forehead. I'm just like,
no, I know what you mean. That's why like sometimes I'll put this like forward.
Yeah.
If it's like back here, it's just like
But I feel like, I mean, I don't know what it is or like why some girls can pull it off. I do feel like I've seen you in like that like really like slick back pony and it looks really good on you.
Yeah, thank you.
Oh yay.
I've been looking up like different I guess hairstyles to do because I'm so like I don't know. I do the bun thing all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Like I finally figured out like I don't know how I didn't know how to do this, but how to get my hair up in like one of those claw clips.
Oh, really?
I never figure it out. Yes. I've been like
big fan of the claw clip.
Do you have like heavy or thick hair?
It's not super thick. I have a lot of hair. I would say it's like fine. It's like the strands are fine, but there's like a lot of hair. So I could never figure out like how to get it in like in the clip and like have it actually look nice.
Yeah. So I guess like that's the trick. I haven't necessarily nailed like getting it to look good. I can get it in the clip, but like, I'm not doing something right. But...
I've kind of gotten it now. I've been looking up like YouTubes and whatever. I'm like in this phase where I'm trying to figure out like how to make my makeup look nicer and my hair and all these things. So whatever.
It is so funny, like the phases we go through, because I'm definitely still in the, I don't even brush my hair in the morning. I just get out of bed. I mean, I sleep in like a silk bonnet, so it helps keep getting frizzy and stuff, but literally just like put my hands through my hair and run out the door compared to like, 5-6 years ago where I'd have like an entire like hour plus long, like get ready for the day sort of routine or whatever.
Yeah.
I made the mistake of getting a haircut that requires styling in order to look good. And I was like, oh, I just like do some fresh layers because I've got long hair. So I was like, the layers might, lighten it up a little. No, now it just looks very like, as you go up styling, like this piece right here, you can see. And then there's just all this stuff here.
So unless you're like taking the time to like curl it or have it,
basically doing a whole blowout routine every morning.
Not for me, but how's your guys' 4th? Did you do anything fun, special, or just hang out, watch fireworks?
We went to Chris's parents' house, and he's got 2 little nephews that are 3 and 5. So
that's fun.
And they're both boys. So like I guess they're just rambunctious, running all over the place. They've got a pool as well. So
fun.
They're in and out of the pool all day. And
you wear sunscreen this weekend?
Say it again.
Do you wear sunscreen this time?
Yes, I did. No burns anywhere, thank God.
Good.
Nice.
That and I have been kind of backloading it with a little Milano tan since the last sunburn. I was like, we're not this again. Like at least I can when I go out there. So that worked. Thank goodness.
Yeah. Yeah. We didn't really do much. Yesterday we went to the gym, we trained, did cardio, like the typical stuff. Ben posed afterwards, and then we just came home and we chilled. We've both been like trying to read more lately, so we like read a little bit. We drugged the dog so that he was like calm. Yeah, I mean,
we drugged the dog.
He gets like so anxious with the fireworks, and then plus it was storming here too, so it was thundering on top of the fireworks.
Oh, that makes it worse.
So yeah, we just stayed home with him. We did some reading, we watched some TV. We've been watching, I don't know if you guys have seen on Netflix, like that Ginny and Georgia show.
I love Ginny and Georgia.
It's it's really good. It's really good. It's cute.
Are you on the newest season or?
Yeah.
You are. Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
It's good. A lot of drama.
Yeah, we've been like binge watching it. So like, I mean, we did have to watch the first and the second season to get to where we're at now. But yeah. So we've been on it for a few weeks.
Interesting that Ben watches it with you. I feel like I definitely. I mean, not that I would say it's more or less like a chick sort of flicky series or whatever.
It is, yeah.
Yeah, but it's definitely like a good kind of mystery follow along, just kind of take your mind off of whatever, just kind of follow a different story, which is kind of
cool. Yeah. Ben likes really whatever. Like he'll watch like, The Bachelor with me or whatever. Any of those like silly shows he's down to watch. So it's nice.
That's nice. What about you, Jess? Did you do anything for the 4th yesterday, or just kind of the regular day?
Just same old. Yeah.
Does Harrison get like spooked out by fireworks or anything like that? Or
he does not care one bit.
No.
Wow.
Yeah, he went to bed before I did.
Little grandpa. That's cute.
Yeah.
That's nice. How's everyone's training been? I know everyone's kind of just going through the motions right now, I think. Actually, Alyssa, you seem to be switching some things up.
Kind of. Yeah, I'll be honest. Like, I don't... I feel so weird because, like, in bodybuilding, we always have, like, these very specific goals. It's like, I need to grow my upper body, or I need to, do whatever. But right now, I don't feel like I have anything like that I'm like specifically trying to do. I'm doing I kind of just like made this up like last week, honestly. So I'm doing like a push-pull legs split. And then I want to not necessarily like get into running, but I want to like get better at running, so that I can at least like feel like I can run a mile, and which I can, but I would like to run it faster than like 12 minutes, which is like where I'm like at. So I'm throwing in like 2 runs a week, not on days that I'm training, just like that. That's just like separate. So that's kind of where I'm at right now. I'm not necessarily thinking like I want to grow this or that. I just want to like train upper body. I'm starting to do that again. And I threw in, I think you might have, I showed you guys in the chat, the deadlifts. I want to start like trying to get those like a little bit stronger. So I think I'm just kind of like trying to play around with like a lot of different things and see what feels good. So it's not really bodybuilding specific goals at the moment. It's just like trying to have fun with it again, really.
I'm definitely in the same spot, Alyssa, so I understand 1,000%.
Yeah. It's a weird spot to be in.
It is.
Right? Like, do you feel that way?
Yeah. Because you don't know, like, really what to do. I've even gone as far as, like, last year hiring, like, a powerlifting coach and doing powerlifting for a while. Because, like, naturally, I carry a lot of strength, and I've always been super strong. And I was like, maybe I can just progress on the big 3. And then realize, like, no, you have disc herniations, bitch. And anytime you do deadlifts, you can't feel your left leg. So it's the best maneuver to go down long term.
Yeah.
But I mean, It's really for me now just going in and enjoying my workouts and finding like my want again and like being in there and having fun. So I get it. It's weird. It's very weird.
Yes, it definitely is. And that's not to say like I'm like, oh, I'm never gonna hop on stage again or anything like that. I mean, I probably will, to be honest. I just was at a point where I was feeling like burnt out with it. And even just like taking the pressure away from like being in prep, I'm enjoying doing cardio and I'm enjoying going in the gym and training, where like I was basically essentially doing the same things before while I was in prep, but I was like just not having fun with it. So I think just like taking that pressure off for a little bit is like a good thing. So
yeah, it is interesting how just like that, like, you know, flip of the switch of just like I'm shooting for the show, like I'm in prep for the show versus like just not anymore. And like all of a sudden, like that pressure and that weight is off. And not that there is really any like, I don't know, we have our own pressures, you know what I mean? Like we put expectations on ourselves, and I feel like it's not often like talked about, I guess, like the I don't know. I feel like it can be hard to put yourself out there and say, hey, I'm in prep. I'm X weeks out from like this show. And then partway through prep, realize that like this, I'm not actually in a good place to be doing this, and stepping away from it because it's like, okay, but like, what if this is just the prep brain and I'm, you know what I mean? I'm getting wrapped up in, you know, the feelings and the emotions. And if I just, you know, continued or pushed on, would it be, you know, quote unquote, like worth it? Or, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Like, and I was there, like I was every week. I'm like, okay, I'm going to give it another week because I think, you know, if I can just get through this week, like I'm going to snap out of it or whatever. And it was just the same thing, like the same thoughts, like just week after week. And like Ben and I were talking about it constantly. I mean, this was like a constant, like daily conversation. And he was like, you're 6 weeks out. If, you know, this is the point where it's going to get hard. And if you're like feeling like this every single day, it's like 6 weeks doesn't seem like that long. Like it's really not, but it's going to be a bad 6 weeks. So, yeah, I just made the decision at that point. And I did wonder like if I was gonna feel like I regretted it, but with the way that like my mentality is right now, I know it was the right choice because I feel like clear, and I don't feel like, oh man, I should have stuck it out. You know, I was just in my feels like in prep or whatever. Like, you know, I feel clear on the fact like, yep, I feel a lot better, and I just needed I need this time to like not have that pressure on me. So or on myself, because it's not like anybody else was putting pressure on me, just, you know, you guys know how it is.
Is there any I don't know, I know how we always say that like there's no one way to do things and you kind of have to figure it out on your own, but for maybe like somebody else that could be in similar shoes, like is there any sort of like telltale sign or, you know, something where you can like look inward and be like, okay, like this is the time to step away, or no, I am just kind of in my feels and I should just kind of keep pushing?
It's so hard because you definitely are in your head in prep, and there's like times where you might want to like quit or whatever, you know, because it is getting difficult. But like if you really think about like the end result, you know, in that moment, and you're like, and you get excited about it, then I would say like keep pushing through, you know. But I was getting to the point where I was like, if I do this prep and if I get first call outs, like how would I feel? And I was like, even in that moment thinking like, I don't even feel like that would like make me that excited. You know what I mean? And it's like, if you're like envisioning the result like that you would hope to have, like, and you're not feeling that excited about it, I mean, I'm not saying quit, but that's like something to look at. So, and I was kind of just getting to that point, and I'm like, that's not that's not right. That's not how I've like felt about every single other prep I've done in the past.
Yeah.
Like I know how I should be feeling, and I wasn't there. So,
and especially where you've had preps where you have kind of had that like toughness in that, because I know, like you said, like your COVID preps or whatever, and just like that whole experience was just, chaotic in its own right. And I feel like if you kind of also have that reference of like, okay, like I still wanted to push on even with like all the BS of, you know what I mean? Something like that.
Yeah.
I'm in a position where like, home life is good, finances are good. Like there's no reason, quote unquote, why I shouldn't be doing this.
Exactly.
And I'm not excited,
Yeah. And then I think also like, I mean, I've been doing it for 10 years and I think in some ways, this is just my experience, like, but some people might be able to relate. Like, I think in a lot of ways I use it as a way, as like a distraction. And I've reflected a lot on like, I mean, I just think like super deeply a lot of times. So I'm like, was I ever doing bodybuilding for the right reasons? Like, so I've like had all these like thoughts. But other periods of my life, like things were, more chaotic and like not as secure as like I am now and things like that. And it was like a really nice escape, I guess. And now I feel like priorities have like shifted a little bit. It's like, we have a house, we got married, like we want to eventually like try to have a baby, like all these different things that I'm like, oh, I'd rather like spend my energy here. Than like necessarily so much on bodybuilding. So I think like priorities just shift too.
Yeah, for sure.
I think the way you kind of view it is, it may not be like you were never doing it for the right reasons, but maybe it was serving its purpose for that point in your life. And now that you have other opportunities and other things are kind of going along with plan, you can. That's
a good way to think of it.
Bodybuilding has definitely taught me a lot. It's like all of those beliefs will like be instilled for me for forever. But the stage is just not my priority right now. So I'll step away and move on to other things rather than. I don't know. That's the way I always viewed it.
Yeah. And then I know I mentioned to you guys too, like, I've like hopped around into different categories too. And I like wellness is amazing. But I think I just also really liked training upper body, and then like eliminating that entire half of my body was like, I just wasn't going in there enjoying it.
Oh my God. It was so sad for me. It was like, but my shoulders, my chest, my back. Oh my God. But
I remember, you were like toying, I think, with that idea also.
Oh yeah. Definitely did. I mean, honestly, right now I weigh about 5 pounds less than what my stage weight was for my last 2 women's physique shows in 2022.
Oh, wow.
That blows my mind. And like, it's weird, I still train and like, I can still see some of the musculature still there, but in reality, measurement wise and pound for pound, it's like, you've lost the weight. You definitely have lost the weight. You can see it visually. I would call it a mind fuck. That's like the best way to explain it.
It is.
I used to always say, I'm never going to fit into an extra small ever again. That, that was back when I was 175 pounds and bench pressing 225 is never. And now I'm quite literally an extra small. So never say never.
That is weird. And then, I think like when you don't also feel like you necessarily fit into one category.
Like
that's weird too.
Athlete, I also enjoy training upper body. Like, I don't know about you, but it never like killed my drive to train in the gym more when someone else was planning my workouts. I don't know. Like, I know how to train and like I knew what I needed to do, but like I wanted to be able to plan my workouts. And if I like look at something and go off of someone else's, like, okay, this is what you should be doing. I was like, not for me. No, this isn't fun. I don't like this movement. Like I would get so like nitpicky about it and like killed it.
I'm kind of similar. I don't like reading off of something while I'm in the gym. Like I just want to go in there and do
do the workout. I will say I've had one successful luck with like one coach, and that's really like his niche is just planning workouts. I don't know if y'all heard of Corey Linder.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, so he's kind of been planning my workouts for the last month and a half, 2 months, and those are workouts I actually enjoy doing, which is a first for me because I've had several people plan workouts for me, and I'm like, nah, I hate this.
What is like, I guess, what's different about what he's having you do in comparison to maybe like what other coaches have in the past, or what you were actually doing in the, before you signed on with him?
I'm a very ADHD style trainer. I can't sit still. And if you have me taking longer rest periods, I will find things to superset it with in between, like just because I'm bored or just because I can't sit still. And that, for me, his rest periods are only 90 seconds in between, like your working and everything else when you're actually getting into the movements. But it's not too much. Like I've gotten some workout plans where you're doing 12 movements. It's like, why? I don't need to do 12 movements. This is going to take me 3 hours to do it. Like the whole workout's killed. But his are very like to the point. You're not going to have a lot of like filler. Like a lot of coaches, they'll try to put intensifiers every single set. And granted, like I do have intensifiers, but I'm not doing them and alternating between a million different versions of them every workout. So they stay consistent between the movement too, which is generally helpful. So I may have like, 2 movements that are the same on 2 different training days, but their intensifier is generally the same. So I don't have to go back and refer to it constantly. Be like, all right, what am I doing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's consistent. That's, I guess, the word I'm looking for.
Yeah.
And that's how I would plan like my own workouts. I'm not going to do a different intensifier depending on the day, but it's the same machine or the same movement style.
Yeah. I would say really the only time I ever do that is if like what I need is taken by somebody else. You know what I mean?
Right. Right.
But yeah, I mean, I think that's a very big thing is people looking for the change up, and looking for, I guess something exciting to kind of break up the monotony like week to week. But
keep your body guessing. That was
but
the gym bro science that I heard like early on getting into it.
Yeah, I gotta like confuse the
your muscles or something.
Right.
That's the last thing I want to do now.
It's quite literally doing the opposite of what we're trying to do. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the last thing I'd want to do.
Does Justin do your programming for training, or have you kind of always done your own thing?
He would if I asked him. Right now I'm just kind of doing like piggybacking off what the guys are doing. So that Tommy kind of wrote. But I changed some stuff. Like I do my own push day. And then before that I ran some Meadows programs. I've pieced together my own programs. So I'm the same. I kind of have like fun putting things together that I know I jive with, but I always have that like initial knee-jerk reaction of like, oh, why'd you put that in there? That's not gonna work. But once I have time to like, it's almost like when you first get back, like your diet changes and like carbs are taken out of your favorite meal. You just need to sit with it for a minute. And then be like,
feel everything.
Yeah, you're like, okay, I can do this. This is actually gonna be good for me,
It's fine. But I think that's really cool too, just having that. I don't know, I think there's something to be said about like finding your own way. You know what I mean? Like I feel like you obviously from probably the get-go have just kind of figured out your own workouts or like pieced together your own workouts based on like what works for you and figuring out like what works for your body versus someone kind of coming into this and like, right out the gate, like they've been told what to do, not necessarily by someone being there and saying like, oh yeah, like this works for your body. Let's do this movement or something. And just kind of working off of a workout plan. So I don't know. I think there is some importance to kind of doing things on your own or like figuring things out on your own. Like I know it's intimidating and, thinking about like, I don't necessarily know what to do. Like when I walk into the gym or something, but just like go try different machines, and movements and look things up and, kind of do the research beforehand to, I don't know, like figure yourself out, I guess. Cause I feel like that goes a long way. And then also too, like, I feel like it just gives you knowledge for building workouts. If you ever choose to go down like the coaching route, which I think you could, you're very knowledgeable and, and seem to obviously really have a passion for knowing the ins and outs of like the training side of things. And I don't know, I think that gives you like a nice sort of tool in the back pocket to be able to do something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because at the end of the day, that's why we're all doing this, because we're supposed to love the training of it.
But, yeah, that's true. That's true.
So we had Universe this weekend. I feel like these national shows, like the lineups are just getting like deeper and deeper, and it's really exciting. I feel like I don't know, I guess not to say that people have not showed up a lot in the past, but I don't know, I just feel like I look at these lineups now and I'm like, Jesus Christ, like everybody's like really good, you know?
Yeah.
Which is exciting. Did you guys have anybody or know anybody that competed this weekend?
I actually didn't for once, which is weird considering I'm like right in Massachusetts, but
yeah,
that's true.
I think of.
Yeah, I knew. Well, there might be more. Well, I know of a handful of people. Personally, I know 2 girls that competed. One competed in wellness. I think she was in B. She ended up getting 3rd. She's actually, her name is Erin. She's so I do like coaching underneath her. So I'm like an assistant coach on her team. So she did well. She got 3rd. And then actually the team that like Ben is an assistant coach with, so the guy who like owns it, Connor, his wife competed in bikini and she also got 3rd. So yeah.
So and some stacked lineups.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah, amateurs I feel like are stepping it up.
They really are, and I don't know, like, again, we could sit here and dive into like the ins and outs of why, I guess, but I just feel like it's just bodybuilding becoming more popular, and just again the people that normally otherwise wouldn't have gotten into bodybuilding that have like the genetic propensity to do really well in the sport, or like finally saying like, you know what, yeah, let me give it a try. You know what I mean? Like, what's it gonna hurt, sort of deal. But I actually knew or know a figure competitor that got her pro card this weekend, which is super exciting. Sydney Van Horn. I don't know if you guys saw me post about her, but
oh yeah, she looked really good.
Out of Richmond, Virginia. Super sweet girl. I feel like she definitely is younger. I know she just had her birthday in February, I think, and I can't remember how old she turned, but definitely like I think mid-20s. Sorry, Sid, if I'm botching that, but I feel like it's like early mid-20s. But I met her down in Richmond when I competed in 2021, and I love when you're like kind of sussing out the competition. So like I went to what is her boyfriend's gym, RBA Iron, just like doing whatever cardio the couple days before the show or something, and like I saw her in there, and just like that, like, God damn it, I hope we're not in the same class. I remember just seeing her shoulders, and like they were just like somebody had stuffed like a freaking baseball in there. Like they were just so round and so capped, and but she's a bit taller, so we ended up in different classes. But of course, like she won that regional show. So it's really cool. This is kind of like what I tell newbie clients or whatever, like getting into bodybuilding. Like this is like the really fun parts about bodybuilding is like kind of meeting the people along the way and making those connections and relationships, and kind of, I don't know, moving up the ranks with them, and just kind of succeed. And I don't know, it's a lot of fun to kind of watch that happen for somebody else, and just keeps that motivation, not even like motivation, but just kind of like, like, fuck yeah, like I want that moment,
Right.
Yeah.
That was super cool.
And definitely I would say like any amateurs like watching that's like honestly, at least for me, like the most fun that I've had with bodybuilding is like when you're an amateur. So
yeah,
soak it up, like enjoy it, because that like climb, I guess, to like getting your pro card is so much fun.
And it seems like so grueling, and obviously it is, you know what I mean? Like you're up against all these other really great athletes, but Ben actually posted about it maybe like a week ago or so. And I reached out about it. because it's been a conversation that Michael and I have had too. And it seems like a common conversation that other pros have is like the amateur leagues is like the time where you're having your fun. The pro ranks is like, not that it's not fun, you know what I mean? Like you're still enjoying what you do, but it's just this weird, I feel like, shift in pressure of.
Yeah, when we're amateurs, we actually get to win, you know?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Probably the last time I ever will, so I'll enjoy it.
Enjoy it while you have it, sort of deal. Yeah. And again, just like I feel, and obviously not that some people can help it, obviously, but the people that like turn pro really like quickly, you know, have done one show, do their national show and turn pro. It's like you didn't really get to have that, you know, those couple years of again, like yeah, and like making those connections and friendships and stuff like that. Not that you can't make them in the pro leagues, but I just feel like it's so much more.
You feel like you're coming in as an outsider.
Yeah,
because that was kind of me. Like I'd really only done a few shows, and I was like, "Oh, you're a pro now." It's like,
yeah,
here you go. It was terrifying. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah,
and I decided to do my first pro show like fresh out of the gates after USA's, and ended up extending my prep like another 9 weeks, and that was the first year they switched the Lou Ferrigno to Legion. So this was the first year for Legion Sports Fest. And coincidentally, like one of the last years, Michaela Aycock was on stage, and I was on stage with her that year.
That's crazy.
That was an insane experience on its own. I got to hang out and talk with her for a little bit backstage, but like I never, like my kind of NPC experience was so like quickly moved that I didn't really enjoy it for that much. Like I did my shows and like I met some people along the way, but it was so like back to back that I think I had more fun in the pro shows going, honestly.
Yeah.
A lot more fun.
Yeah.
But by that point also, I think women's physique had kind of expanded, and there's a lot more people coming into it that you know or have like followed on social media for years that you're now making friends with that just kind of like added to the experience.
Yeah, for sure. I also know a wellness competitor that competed this weekend, Julia Magdalena. She is local to New England, and I just really feel like it just is crazy to me. Like when I see her, I'm just like, she is like, she looks like she's a wellness pro, and I think she just missed it by one placing this weekend.
Did she really? I was wondering when you just mentioned her if she got it or not, because I wasn't sure.
Yeah. So I believe she competed in open 35 plus and 40 plus, which is insane. When I first like saw her, met her, would not have thought that she's like a day over 35. Like, I don't know. I just feel like she's so youthful, but, yeah, it's just, I don't know, I guess like what it is that kind of has her like just missing it. But I don't know. I see her and I'm like, I don't know. It's gonna be so tough. You know what I mean? Like national show after national show. I've actually wanted to get her on to kind of chat more about her journey, and because I know she kind of put things away, I think like a year and a half ago or something, and came back this time to really, put forth, not that like the effort hasn't been there, but like really like, okay, like I'm going for this. And then to like miss it by like one place is just, I don't know. Like I'm curious to ask like how much more would you want to continue to do that? You know what I mean? Like, and not that like, again, winning's the end all be all, but again, she looks like, and I feel like you could attest to it, Alyssa, like she looks like she could stand on stage with wellness pros, you know?
She does. Yeah. And then that does get discouraging when it's like, you feel like you're there. Like like you said, she does look that way. And you just wonder like, okay, what's holding her back, you know?
Yeah.
But also maybe it's nothing. It could just be like, on that one specific day.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, who knows who else showed up, or if like one little thing was off, or maybe like it could have just been like one thing with posing that they, who like, knows? I feel like
or something.
Yeah. And the divisions like wellness and bikini, I feel like there's really a lot of subjectivity, like more, a little bit more so, I think, than like women's physique or maybe figure, things like that. It's I don't know. The margin is so small
there. I absolutely agree with you there. And I think like part of it is just because, and it's not a bad thing, but just like what is being looked for on stage, like with women's physique or women's bodybuilding, even like figure, like you're looking for more, I guess, or like, you know what I mean? Like different muscle groups and things like that.
Yeah. Or it's like a very specific shape, it's like figure, like if you have that shape, like you have that shape. It's very like kind of apparent. Where with like wellness, I feel like there's a lot of different like looks that you could kind of have, and it's all good, but they want like something specific. I don't know.
Yeah, it's tough. And I feel like I see it often too with mostly like male bodybuilders, just kind of missing it year after year by like the skin of their teeth and doing this for 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years, and having the look, but just if the competition goes out that day and like that happens to be what they're looking for, just how the cookie crumbles, so to speak.
Yeah.
But yeah, and I think I said it last time too, it shouldn't necessarily be like you're chasing the pro card, you're trying to chase the pro physique, so at the end of the day, if you know that like you're checking all your boxes and you're getting that kind of year over year or stage after stage improvements and stuff like that, like you're doing the right things. It's just not an easy sport to to get it in, as much as it seems like it is. I feel like there is always kind of that back and forth talk of like, oh, they give out so many pro cards now, and everyone's a pro, and the prestige of winning your pro card isn't there anymore. But it's like it's still a very small percentage of people that turn pro compared to how many people actually compete in the sport.
Did you see that post? I think Michael actually shared it. That's who I got it from. I wish they would do one. I wish they would compare like the women's divisions too. But basically, if you ladies didn't see it, it was like you have a better chance of getting drafted into the NFL as a men's open bodybuilder than turning pro in bodybuilding, which
dang,
kind of blows my mind. I'm like, really?
Yeah.
Yeah. I didn't see that, but that's
backup plans.
Yeah, no, it is crazy because I mean I didn't look up the statistics, but I'm hopefully assuming that
I'm taking his word for it. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I'm taking your word for those stats, but it is very it's just crazy to think about, and just kind of doesn't necessarily put to rest, I guess, but almost like puts to rest the conversation of like, oh, anybody can get it now. It's not as prestigious or a high title,
Well, and it's kind of crazy to think about too, because sometimes I kind of think like you're either going to be athletic and be like predisposed to be a good football player, whereas I feel like bodybuilding, I don't know, I guess the structure component comes into play, but I also
insertions and everything.
I don't know, like I feel like sometimes if you put in enough, I don't know. I guess either way, if you put in enough work, then
But I think I know where you're going with it, and I quite.
No, I'm trying to like figure out how to put into work.
No matter how hard you try, no matter how much you train, no matter how much you work, I'm not going to be as fast as Usain Bolt. You know what I mean? Like I'm not going to jump as high as an NBA basketball player. Like. Or, whatever, even put it on the female side. Like I can't be Simone Biles. You know what I mean? No matter
how will also never have the structure that Sid Gillen has. So it's like, I feel like there's extremes and like, it does work both ways. Cause people with like really unfortunate structures, like they're not going to be able to out train.
Yeah, that's true.
But you can hide it.
You can hide it.
You can definitely hide it because I'm missing I can hide it well.
Yeah, and I guess like when it comes to the women's divisions, it's like, okay, well, if you have really terrible structure, then probably don't do like figure.
No.
Yeah.
If you
but you could get away with it maybe in like I mean, in women's physique, you could like maybe get away with it
Yeah.
if like you can get fucking shredded.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And like pose like well and you know, have
Yeah.
like the size and stuff like that. And maybe your
Yeah.
shape's like not great, then you can get away with it. And
I think
in
That's
so.
what I'm trying to say, which is weird. And I feel like it kind of goes against that post of the stats, but I mean maybe not. But again, no matter how hard I try, I feel like there's no way I would make the Olympic team. But somebody with the work ethic and the ability to freaking train like an animal, eat, like do all the things, maybe they're not genetically gifted or blessed on the structural side of things, but we've all seen plenty of people, you know, earn their pro cards, not necessarily based off of structure. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, but it's like
And
a very...
It's also like one of those things where it's like eventually if you're just riding on good genetics, like it'll catch up with you if you don't have the work ethic to
yeah.
get up, you know.
I mean, the cream always rises to the top. You know what I mean? Like the best will eventually, you know, show up, and the people that don't necessarily have it, you know, you'll compete in the rounds and things like that. But yeah, I mean, you really have to nail all of it, you know, to get there, to be at the top. But yeah, very interesting.
It was an interesting thing to think about anyway. It was neat how they laid out the stats.
Yeah, no, and I definitely am very interested. I mean, if somebody could take the time to do like female division or something like that, I'd be interested to know what the
ChatGPT.
They don't care about the females.
I know.
Yeah. But one chick I want to quickly pull up is this figure overall chick that won universe.
Perfect example of structure that I will never have.
Yes.
I saw her and I was just like, and just like the same, it's like obviously a joke, like, haha, I know why I do this, I know my why and stuff, but I see stuff like that, I'm like, why the fuck do I do this? You know, like,
it's like looking at Sid Gillen. It's like we just can't even begin to compare ourselves to
that.
You've either got that or you don't. You know, and not
that's something you were quite born with.
The work that went into it, but some people just never.
How weird is it though that this is like going to be the first Olympia that she's not doing in?
No,
it will be very interesting.
It's crazy.
I'll find it. Got some.
Go to Gilco. Or just Gilco.
Probably.
Yeah.
You're so much smarter with this than I am. I'm sitting here scrolling for like.
We just showed her on our.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
I mean, how can you? She looks freaking amazing. Okay. We're getting there. We're getting there.
And it's always
so close.
I said this the other day too. It's like these girls that show up and win the overalls, they always just end up like sneaking in with like no social media platform, like no hype.
This girl, yes.
They just come in from nowhere.
Yeah.
Crazy lat insertions.
Yeah.
Tiny.
I don't know. This might be our Sid Gillen.
This is the new Sid Gillen, yeah.
Do you remember the name, Shay, of the gal who won the overall?
Oh my God.
Because she reminds me of a lot of each other. And I can't remember her name for the life of me.
Oh, yeah, that one.
We talked about Mercedes, that one. She just won her pro card as well. I'm going to have to find her. I'm going to figure out what show it was because I followed her.
And then
that's wild.
Yeah.
Crazy. And just so beautiful. Like you said, it's just such a polished, like, beautiful. And it's like, I didn't actually check out her social. So what's really funny is she started out private with like 36 followers or something. Yep, there it is. Upwards of 400 now. I know she's gonna blow up. Like she just looks so insane, and I didn't take a whole lot of digging to look into like how long she's been doing this. You know what I mean? Like, I think that's all there is on her page. So it's like there's not even, you know, any history of like your you know, your national qualifier or anything like that, which I love. Like I love seeing someone like this that, you know, isn't in deep with the social media and stuff like that, like kind of just coming out and being like, what the hell? Like, who is this? You know?
Yeah. I also have to say, like, I don't know how you guys feel about this, but like when I started 10 years ago, social media, I mean, it was there, but it wasn't, I think I was a little bit like late into the social media thing. So I 10 years ago was like, I think just starting my Instagram. So I was like barely on there. I think I would like post here and there about my journey in the gym and whatnot. But like, I think I enjoyed it a lot more when I wasn't like on social media as much, or it just wasn't as big in general with everybody. Like, I find that social media is just, I mean, I don't know what it is, but I just kind of don't enjoy like seeing what everybody is posting all the time about their like body. Well, I like seeing it to some extent, but also like I feel like I don't know. Maybe you guys have like some input on this too, because I feel like it takes away a little bit of like the enjoyment of like what you're doing when you're like watching what everybody else is doing. I don't know.
I mean, it really is like a hard, I don't know, like catch-22, I feel like, of you want to be submerged in it and completely like in bodybuilding and know what's going on and be on top of the news and just kind of, you know what I mean, in order to like really feel like you're part of this niche community that we all are. But then exactly like on the same token, it's like at the end of the day, my brain is so, again, Michael and I talk about this all the time. Like I've done so much bodybuilding, just intake of media and just conversation and stuff like that. Like at the end of the day, like I don't want to talk about bodybuilding or see bodybuilding or anything like that at all. You know, it's like, so it is really weird. I don't know. I love it. I love everything about it. But yeah.
I don't know. I think it's more so like maybe missing. It's like some nostalgia of when you're like more of a beginner at this. You know what I mean? And you're like a little bit ignorant to all of it and it's all like exciting and you know, I think that's more so like kind of what I'm getting at, what I miss is like, you know, you get excited to just post like, oh, look at, you know, what I did in the gym today. And you're like, you know, you don't take it for granted like we do the further we get into it. I think that's what I'm kind of, Yeah.
What was that, Ashlynn?
So I think now we're just desensitized to it.
Yeah.
Because it's so prevalent. It's not like a new thing anymore.
It's like, maybe that's kind of what I'm getting at with it.
Yeah.
And it's funny, right? Because it's still definitely like as popular as it's getting, like it's still very much like a niche sport. You know what I mean? Like, you know, look at how many people actually compete in like a regular gym compared to like just the regular like gym goer, I guess. Like, but it still is very like, I don't know, like you almost want to feel like it's more niche than it is. And maybe that is just like the newness, you know what I mean? Of like just coming into it and like, you know, feeling like there's so much to like figure out about this world that I don't know of. And it's exciting because there's something new every day. And now it's just like a repeat of the same thing. And, you know, people's days of eating or it's all the same. And you know, there's nothing. I feel like a big part of it is trying to, I don't know, market yourself like you're something different, obviously, to do like the whole business side of it. But it's like, there's really nothing exciting about what we do. You know, we do the same thing every single day. My training is the same virtually, you know, week to week. The food's all the same. It's just when I'm in a growing season, it's more. And when I'm in a prep season, it's less, you know? So I definitely feel like I know what you mean by like just wanting it to feel like there's something new to look forward to each day. You know, there's just, there's not. It is very monotonous. So if you don't like monotony or you don't like it's the same thing day in and day out, probably not the sport for you. But Also, Alyssa, I'm really excited to try it on. I got my Violet the Dress Code order. So for those of you that don't know, Alyssa is a sponsored athlete for Violate the Dress Code Alyssa M10. But yeah, I never really have like worn. I've always seen like the strappy back or like the no back like tops or whatever.
I saw those from Violet. Those look so cute.
Yeah, so like I've never taken a jump on one of those tops, but I got one, and I wonder if I'll just feel like naked or if it's like I guess it's like no different than like a sports bra, I guess, but I don't know, just something about like that entire like back being exposed is I'm excited.
Yeah, you'll have to let me know how you like it. Yeah, I really like their stuff. Like the quality's good, the fit is always good. Yeah. So and it's cute. Yeah. It's cute stuff.
I try not to like go overboard on like I know I guess it sounds shitty, but like quality like gym attire, I guess. Like I try to treat myself every now and again. You know, like when I go to a show, like I'll buy something from Gas and Better Bodies or something. But yeah, for the most part, it's just Amazon and like Shein or really anywhere I can get a good bargain. But I'm excited to try this out.
Yeah. Some of the stuff is so expensive. Like, not just like Violet. I mean, all of the gym wear brands, you know, are a lot of money.
Yeah.
Yep. I'm a big fan of a couple of brands on Amazon for their shorts and their leggings. They hold up really well.
Really?
Like $20 to $30 for a pair. It's fantastic.
I've seen that brand. I think it's an Amazon brand called like Arola or something.
Arola, yeah.
Is that one of them that you're talking about?
So the shorts, they're biker shorts, so comfortable, and like they don't bunch, they're not super, super thick, because that's another issue I have with biker shorts. If the waistband is super thick, it's just it makes me look like I'm built like a door.
Yeah.
So, I can't do that.
Yeah, that's very true. I know some people like really enjoy like the thick, like heavy, like legging material, but I can't stand it. Like I definitely prefer the more like
thinner,
like buttery, like smooth feeling ones, especially like around my waist. Like I don't like you're saying, Ashlynn, I don't love like so like Better Bodies. Like I'm wearing a pair of their spandex shorts right now, and it definitely is like very like with the weight.
Yeah, they're short, like the scrunch butt ones.
What was that?
Is it the scrunch butt ones?
Yes.
Yeah, those
like,
it's fantastic.
Unless I'm in prep, because in like off season I've got like the muffin top over the
bring it all together.
Yes, I feel like the onesies always look super comfortable, but I just feel like I don't know that. I don't know if I would be comfortable wearing that to the gym. I feel like you've worn it a few times, Alyssa, like the onesie shorts. Like they look super comfy. Like, does it feel weird being in like a one piece or?
No, I like it. I kind of like felt the same way about it at first. Yeah. Like, I feel like this is going to be really weird, but like I have two from Violet and they are really comfortable. They're like that buttery kind of like soft material that you're talking about. I think we've talked about this in the group chat. The only thing with those is like when you have to pee, it's kind of annoying because you have to like literally take the whole thing down, you know, like a leotard or something. But yeah, I mean, it's comfortable, but sometimes I do feel okay. So like going into a gym, like MI40 in that outfit is like totally normal because a lot of people like wear, you know, they're like dressed kind of like spiffy and, you know, it's like normal to wear like that type of stuff in there. But when I go to like the local gym just in town, we live in like a smaller town and like I feel like it's a little weird when I wear it to a gym like that, where it's more of like your general like population kind of people. So I kind of like pick and choose like where I wear it.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. That's definitely probably how I'd run that. Yeah. Might be something I
shouldn't care, but you know,
I know.
You know what I mean.
Also, there is something to be said about like a time and a place, right? Like, if you are going to a Planet Fitness or like a general pop or a gym, like, I'm sorry, but having half your ass cheeks hang out, and it's just like you're just kind of looking for someone to let. I mean, not that anybody would really say anything, but you know what I mean, like, versus going to your bodybuilder gym where like half the girls look like that, and that's kind of the norm,
right? Yeah. And also, like, it's not even that I'm worried about like people being creepy and like the more like gen pop gyms or whatever, but I don't know. I don't want to make like anybody else like feel weird either. You know what I mean? Like, I'm kind of overly like conscious of that too. So I remember there was one day we were in there and Ben was like wanting me to take some pictures of him, like I don't know what he was doing, arms or something. So I was doing it and he kept like wanting me to get like all these angles and stuff, and my face like must have just looked funny, and he's like, what's the matter? And I was like, I don't know, I just feel like this is like too much for this gym. Like, these people are probably like, what the hell are these guys doing? You know what I mean?
I know what you mean, for sure.
Yeah. And he's like, oh, like, he's like, I really don't care what they think. And I'm like, I know, but I do.
No, I'm so with that.
On that one. I still have issues like filming my sets, even for like coaches. I'm like, oh my God, I've got to like set up my phone somewhere. And I'm like, still refuse to use a tripod. That Chris has one, but I just like, I'll set up my water bottle or like something and then just prop the phone up on it.
Yeah, that's what I do for any of the sets that I record. But I don't know if that's just like a person. I mean, definitely it's like a personality thing, because obviously we see the people that don't necessarily have those thoughts or extra attention to other people's comfortability or whatever, but I don't know, just like I wouldn't wear like booty shorts to I don't know, like I wouldn't have my tits falling out at someone else's wedding, like, I don't know, just kind of the consideration of just the people and the environment around you, I guess, just being I don't know, just mindful. Seen some weird stuff. Seen some really, really weird stuff.
Shay, how's it going with you with your new coach? And I know like you shared your pictures with us and you've like made a lot of improvements.
It honestly is such a nice, like, I don't know, like, I know I'm a realist myself. Like, I know, like, I'm not good with the rebounds. Like, I'm not good with, like, kind of keeping everything in tight, post show, like around like the holidays, because that's been like the last couple of times. But it is nice to kind of like, even if I have to freaking pay somebody to do it, right? Like, get me to a point where like, okay, like I feel much more comfortable with how I look. And not even to a point of like, I don't know, like, I know we have to like be a little uncomfortable sometimes, obviously, to like grow and things like that. I'm sure like I'll get back up there or whatever, or, see less lines as we kind of be back up and go back into like a growing. But I don't know, there's definitely like, when you've taken things a little too far, you know what I mean? And I don't know, I definitely do better like having somebody there to be like, nope, like we got to reel it in, otherwise I feel like I would just completely like go off the rails, but I guess kind of just knowing your own, like what you can handle and what you can't. But it's been going really good. I feel like he's very, I don't know, to the point without making me feel like I'm a waste of his time sort of deal, if that makes sense. Not that like I want to feel like somebody's like protege or like they're, you know what I mean? Like I'm the only client they have or something, but like it definitely, for me, I think is important to feel like, I guess I don't know how to explain it, like on a certain like wavelength with a coach. Because again, I know I've talked about like my experience with Matt Jansen, which again, like not to say he necessarily did anything wrong, but it definitely just felt like, oh, like I'm very like, skim of the bottom with kind of who else he has on his roster and stuff. So I don't know. I like how he communicates. I like how kind of simple he keeps things, but then also seems very open to, I don't know, feedback, obviously, and adjusting things as needed. Like for a little bit, I was definitely having some like gastrointestinal problems and like digesting fats because I was on like pretty high fats for me. Like anytime I have like a fattier diet plan, I don't necessarily go for fattier meat, so to speak. And like he had me on like 93% beef for a couple meals and like adding olive oil and eggs and like whole eggs and stuff. I just noticed that like my stomach was not having it like to the point TMI, but again, this might help somebody else too. Like your poop should not be like foam. Like you should be like passing like solid like solid.
Did you develop steatorrhea yet?
What was that?
Steatorrhea. So that's when it looks like oil.
Yeah.
For lack of better terms, because you just stop absorbing any of it.
Yeah, well, exactly. So like your body's not breaking down the fats, which is coming out in your stool.
Yeah.
So like that was, and like I'm definitely a person that's like I don't want to. I don't know. I don't want to feel like I'm a know-it-all and like, hey, like this isn't. We got to change this. You know what I mean? Because it's not working. Like I gave it some time and gave it like a solid like couple of weeks just to see if like. Okay, I added in a probiotic, I added in fiber, I added in like a gut health sort of regimen in the morning and stuff, with some other supplements that I added in, and like nothing, like it still wasn't, what I mean? So it's like, okay, like it's definitely, I know my body, like I know the day after, I splurge and have like a ribeye or something like that, like my stomach's fucked up. So it's definitely like the fats from this meat. So we ended up changing it. I mean, I think for his plans anyways, we were kind of tapering down on the fats regardless, but we ended up switching that out for chicken meals and have been doing considerably better. So that was really nice to kind of feel on track with all of that. But which actually just like, I mean, again, goes to show like the importance of communicating things like that with your coach, and like not feeling like, I don't know, there's definitely a way to go about like giving feedback versus like demanding things, I guess, like, if they don't know, like they're not in your body, like if they don't know what's going on, with your biofeedback and things like that, like how, like you're just spinning your wheels at that point, I feel like, but yeah, it's been going pretty good. Still obviously on Michael's training split or like our similar training split. So I'll be very interested, kind of bringing it back to our conversation earlier about following a plan that's not mine or one that, I don't know, Michael and I have like done, again, we've been training partners since like my like real dive into bodybuilding. Which I think I am not intimidated, I guess, but like, I don't know, apprehensive about doing a training split in a training style that isn't necessarily what I've been known to do. So that'll be very interesting. But I mean, similar like with Hunter, right? Like when she first started with him, she's like, this is a lot different.
I remember that.
So
wasn't it like he was having her do a lot more volume, I think, right?
Yeah. So like for me, I've just always done like the progressive overload style, like high intensity, high volume, or not high volume, I guess, but like more like moderate volume. But, sets are anywhere from 8 to 15 reps, depending on like what the movement is. Like my core movement's probably closer like that, like 8 to 10, maybe 12. And then, like accessory movements or something like going up to like 15 reps. But for him, it's like there's 4 sets of like, and I think this was a confusion with her too, of like, are these all working sets or are they like some warm-ups, some working? But 4 sets.
Probably means 4 like working sets.
That's what I'm thinking. Yeah. 4 sets of like, I think like 12 or so reps, 12 to like 15 reps, depending on like what movement it was. So it's like for me, learning how to, because I only typically have like 2 full working sets for my working movements. So it's like learning how to dial back the intensity, so to speak, to be able to get through a full 4 working sets, I think will be different, but, I don't know. It'll be interesting to kind of follow someone else's lead on that for a change, versus Michael's, or again, just doing what I've been known to do, but new stuff.
Yes. It's exciting.
It is, and it's definitely, again, like I'm kind of like what we chatted a little bit about in the group chat, Alyssa, just not having, not like there's like a pressure for me to compete, I guess, but like, like you guys kind of like brought out the like, oh, I don't know, like you're still qualified, like maybe hopping into the show isn't a bad idea for nationals at the end of this year. And like I definitely, I don't know, went back and forth a bit of like, okay, am I doing it just because I know I'm qualified to do it? So again, like just because you can compete doesn't necessarily mean you should compete, right? And I don't know, like giving myself silly excuses of like, oh, like I don't want to have to requalify again. And it's just like, why not? Like that's what you got to do to get there, And I don't know, just thinking about. I think like a big part of it was just like the experience that I had that first national show, and like not like wanting to recreate it, I guess, but like wanting to relive it and go back down to Texas and like do the whole thing again. But again, just from like a financial and just common sense standpoint, I guess like it just didn't make sense to continue with the idea of going to going to nationals at the end of this year. But
okay. Yeah. So you are gonna hold off until next year.
Yeah. So I again, kind of similar thing. Like I talked about it with Michael and ended up bringing it up to Justin. And I mean, he seems like a coach that's just kind of like, I'm game for what you want to do. Just let me know what we're doing, sort of deal,
Yeah.
But like my thought process behind that too is like, it gives us more time to work together, like through more of like a growing phase versus, because I mean, if we're really talking about it, if I were to do this national show at the end of the year, Michael's 5 weeks out now, and I know we were saying I would be about 20 weeks out when he was 2 weeks out. So it's like at this point, like Justin and I are still kind of in this like composition change or like fat loss phase. Like my calories are, getting around like the lower points of like 1800, 1700. So it's like, where could I really have to go? Like kind of similar to you, Jessica, with your prep going into nationals. So I don't know, like it kind of kept like coming back to me of like, you always give the advice of like, work with a coach for, a good amount of time before you do a prep and stuff like that. And so yeah, I think that's kind of more the smart choice. Just this year, I wouldn't have to have the stress of like a heavier traveling sort of competition situation, like so Universe is pretty much my back door or my backyard. It's down in Jersey, so I could drive there. I obviously can do a more local regional, so I'm not having to spend the money to like fly and take more time off work. So I have to get down there with enough time to be able to let like the excess water come off and just like all that stuff, and just not having to stress about that. And then also too, just I don't know, going back to my thought of like wanting this to kind of be more focused on like Michael's pro debut, and just kind of like, this is his time and being able to celebrate with him afterwards and not be like, oh, nope, sorry, you can't celebrate, your first pro show because, I decided I wanted to do a national show that I didn't necessarily have to do this year, And I don't know, I just want to come back and like really, like this isn't like testing the waters, you know what I mean? Like I want to come back and like bring the improvements that I should bring. And Universe next year is the game plan. Obviously anything can happen and things can change, but I was actually thinking, Ashlynn, of doing the Rhode Island as the qualifier or whatever. Yeah, I don't know, seeing that show this year and just how well Justin put it on, and just seemed like a really cool show to do. And
it was
and I think too, like just the quality of competitors, just it would feel nicer going into a national show, like standing against girls that kind of give me a run for my money. Again, I've talked about this a lot, but so I'm excited for this new game plan of next year.
Yeah, I like that. I think that sounds good.
Universe.
What was that, Ashlynn?
I think Chris is actually doing Universe. I'm trying to get his attention, but he's like locked into a big. Are you doing Universe next year?
I think Jacoby wanted me to do either like the Masters Nationals, that's around North Americans at the same show and North Americans.
Oh, okay. Never mind. He's doing North American.
Later, later in the summer. Well, who knows? You never know, Chris. Things could change.
Yeah, I mean, I'd like to do universe, but however I'm looking and progress and stuff, by the time next year comes, then we'll decide.
Yeah, heck yeah.
I'm
I think
just this bag bitch. That's what I've done myself for like all of his preps because I just walk around carrying everything. Yeah.
Yeah.
It is funny having to be like your partner's like, I don't know, just not like punching bag, but just like, just be the one to carry the stuff around, be the one to, cook the food that time around, or
I think it's also being like the sane person in the household, because I'm not saying that they're insane when they're in prep, but having like, for me, especially being like on the competitive side and knowing that side, being able to have like a clean mindset, being like, no, you don't look like shit. You are just flat.
Yeah.
Get out of your own head and shut up.
Yeah, that is nice to have for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm kind of enjoying like being more mentally clear and just being able to be like supportive toward Ben at this point, So instead of like me being all crazy in prep, and then he's getting to that point now too with he's doing Texas, so 5 weeks out, where he's like, I mean, he's been really good, but like now he's starting to get to where he's like
words are minimal.
Little more of a spacey kind of zombie guy.
Yeah.
So
I was gonna ask how he's doing. Just on the same notion that yes, today is definitely one of those days of like, oh yeah, we're 5 weeks out for sure.
Yeah, I would say just this past, like, honestly, the past like few days, like, is where he's like, yeah, I'm feeling it now. I mean, it's been a relatively, I don't want to say easy prep, but like probably easier than he's had in the past. But like he's 5 weeks out, he's starting to feel it.
And like that's funny too. Like I know that obviously Socials doesn't tell the whole story, but just like based off of his like demeanor and stuff like that he puts out, it seems like he's been in good spirits and kind of like things are going good this prep, which is cool to see.
Yeah, they are. He's like not doing more than 30 minutes of cardio a day, or not even every day. I can't remember exactly how many, but it's not 7 days. It's like probably 5 days a week.
Nice.
And he's gonna get 2 refeed days in a row, like tomorrow and Monday. Refeed and a cheat meal on one of those days too. 5 guys. So like, yeah, I know. So he's excited for that, but yeah, it's going well. But then he has some really low days. Like he gets those refeeds every week, but like then he really digs like low, like really low. The rest of the week. Yeah.
It's actually that's kind of similar to Michael. We haven't done like necessarily like cheat meals, like dirty cheat meals, like 5 guys, things like that. But he'll have really, really like, especially at this point when your stomach's so small because of the calories that you're taking in is less and less. So like these really like high carb days.
Yeah.
And then he'll usually have like these kind of more maintenance days, and then kind of takes the plum, down to like the low days.
Yeah.
That's been yesterday and today. So he's on the back end of this low diet, but tomorrow we're back up a little bit. So
good. How's his like mood?
Honestly, again, like it in comparison to like previous preps and stuff like that. And I could go into the whole like just how much better environmentally like things are this time around, like in the house and everything, but like he's been very good. Like things have been like, pretty positive. I mean, obviously you can't help those moments of like, again, this is the second low carb day. We're 5 weeks out, and just something like catching his lure in the tree was like, nope, I'm fucking done. We're leaving. And then just like the spiral of like, I don't even know why I chose to like walk out to go do that. I should have been resting. Like, now I have cardio tomorrow. So just like stuff like that. So it's trying to put myself in the seat of like, okay, yeah, Cheyenne, like probably should say like, maybe we shouldn't take a walk, because you know what I mean? Like trying to not be just go with a flow girlfriend and be more like the sound or the voice of reason, I guess, or something like that, Also another interesting thing that I feel like, I don't know, you don't really like talk about, you just kind of have to like step into those shoes, I guess. Have you like had any interactions like that, Alyssa, where you're like, like maybe we shouldn't go out for a 5-mile hike because we're, you know what I mean? Or
kind of, not anything like that intense, you know.
Yeah.
Like he'll usually be the one that's like, because I'll be like, do you want to take the dog on a walk together? And he's like, no, I'm not doing that, you know. So but like for instance today, we were driving down to MI-40, and it's like a 45-minute drive from our house. So, and I just noticed that he was being a little quiet, and like I understand that, but I was like, are you good? And he was like, no, I'm fine. I'm not in a bad mood. And I was like, no, I mean like driving. Like you seem like you're like not driving quite, you know,
like
it's not great. And he's like, yeah, actually I am a little tired. So like stuff like that where I'm like, maybe I should just drive. You know, it's So yeah, I do notice there are some things where I need to be the voice of reason, or I'll be like, I'll cook that, or you know, don't worry about doing this chore, like I'll do it, even if it's like something he would normally do. So
yeah.
And
especially as like guys too, right? Because like they're not necessarily, you know, unlike me, where I'll just like, ooh, like I can't do it, like I can't even walk up the stairs. Can you cook the chicken? Like they're not gonna ask for that, you know, like they're not unburden themselves from like their usual, you know, things that they do. So I don't know. I find a lot of the times that like, yes, they've got that like hard exterior and like I'm in my zone, I'm doing my stuff. Like sometimes they do need that like gentle woman touch of like, no, honey, it's okay. Like just go sit down. Like I'll take care of it, you know? That times like visually when I kind of take those reins of just like, okay, like like I will go sit down or whatever. And like I don't know, it feels nice to be able to kind of give that back, I guess.
Yeah. And I know that's one thing for Ben, like he struggles with, is like he feels really guilty during prep, like if he's too tired to do something, or if he can't like contribute as much like around the house, or you know, certain things like that he normally would do. So that's where he struggles in prep, is just like feeling like he can't be who he needs to be for like the people around him. So like kind of just letting him know it's okay, like it's only 4 or 5 more weeks, like it's fine, like just do what you need to do. I'm good, you know. So, yeah.
Which of course time, you know, and learning them and just kind of the years you spend in this, you know, but
And I take it sometimes because he'll like go to bed earlier than what we normally do. Like when he's prepping, he's more tired, so he's like, I'm gonna go to bed. But I'll use it sometimes as like little bit more like me time. I'm like, all right, well, I'm gonna sit out here and just watch some TV. Then you go to bed. That's good. You know, so it's I don't know. You learn how to like manage it.
Exactly. And approaching it from like a different perspective, aside from like, oh, like poor me, I'm missing out on XYZ, you know, and like, you know, I'm not getting the cuddle time that I'm used to, or like the hangout time where we're lively and we're talking and we're having invigorating conversation, you know, like these guys literally have like 3 brain cells right now. And, you know, like you can't expect so much, and just know that like it is just a temporary time, and they'll be back, you know, they'll be back to their normal selves as soon as they get them. So
Ashlynn, how's Chris in prep?
In prep, so there's moments where I have to learn to be like the firm hand, and like then there's times where I've definitely had to been like, all right, stay quiet, let him blow some steam off, don't say a word, because anything you say can or will go against you. And then there's times where, you know, you kind of have to be like the softer side. I think with him, it's taking away some of like the daily responsibilities, like you said, that really just helps him like, all right, I can kick my feet up, I can relax. It's something I don't have to worry about, which for me, I'm neurotic, so I'm gonna get it done if it's not done regardless.
Yeah.
Yeah.
With him, we just got really good at that balance. And like, I know, like whenever he's in prep, like the short like fuses, or like sometimes there's like kind of a snappy remark or an attitude, like I try not to take any of it seriously, because I know there's been moments like in my preps where I've definitely done the same thing, and he's given me the grace to kind of just blow it off, let it roll off the shoulder, and then come back with a solution or a possible, like, you know, blow some steam off with me to the problem.
Yeah.
So that's, no, I was saying that about me.
Yeah.
You're not an asshole in prep.
Defending you, actually, Christopher.
No, yeah. He just has like, everyone has their short moments and fuses in prep, and you just like, at those point in times you just realize that that's what it is, and let them have their moment and move along.
Yeah. Ben gets he gets like frustrated with the dog. Like the dog will like, so we come home and the dog gets like so excited that he just like makes these like, I don't even know what kind of noise it is, but he's like whoa, whoa, whoa. You know, he just like like I don't know, just gets so excited, and he's like, I can't hear that right now. He's like, stop it, you know, like he's like telling the dog to like stop making these noises. And I'm like, oh, don't be mean to him, you know what I mean? So it's like, that's like our biggest not issue, but like the biggest thing in the prep, because I'm like, I just have such a soft spot for the dog, and he like, he doesn't yell at him, but he's like, be quiet, you know, and I'm just like, oh, don't say that to him.
No, same for sure. Same with like our cats. And there's definitely like a cat that's more my cat, and there's a cat that's more Michael's cat sort of deal. Like love them both equally, but you can definitely tell like we both have like a different relationship with each one. So mine is the more more tuxedo looking one, Tiny. And like even just like today, like I don't know why. Well, I do know why. Our senior cat that passed away a couple of years ago, she would always drink from like the vanity sink. So we'd have to like turn it on like ever so slightly, and she'll drink from like underneath the spout and stuff. So we got Tiny when she was a kitten, and she used to see Mowgli do that. So she like eventually adopted that habit. And so anytime like you start to head toward the bathroom, she just like under your feet, she's running past you, like jumps up onto the vanity to like get her drink and stuff. And just like little things like that, he'll just be like, just get out of my face. Like, I don't like, you don't need to come into the bathroom every time I go to the bathroom, you know? Little stuff like that. I'm just like, don't yell at my baby. She's just, you know what I mean? Like, it's not her fault. It's love and attention, you know? She didn't choose for you to be in prep, but they don't know any better. But again, it's temporary, and they'll be back to themselves.
Soon enough.
All right, my girls. I really have to pee. I've been sitting here like fidgeting for like, I don't know why I feel like I can't leave. Like I could very well just be like, all right, just give me 2 seconds and go use the bathroom and let you guys like chat or whatever. But I don't know. I never do. And then I sit here and am probably getting a UTI as we speak. But but no, that's I would say that's probably a good wrap up there. It's been about an hour 20. Nice quick one. But yeah. Well, I hope you guys have a good rest of your week. I feel like I don't know, I'm all fucked up with like the holiday. I keep thinking today's Monday. And yesterday was like Thursday, and it's been very strange, but I'm very excited to have another day off tomorrow. So looking forward to that. All right, my girls. Well, until next time.
Thank you. Have a good night.
Thank you. Good night, guys.
Bye. Love you.
Bad bitch, I'm a